My name is Andrew Rover. I'm the executive director at the party, and I just want to start by saying a thank you to all of you for being here this evening. I think that this is a great representation of where we are as a party and where we're going to go. So thank you all for being here, and I hope that you all look forward to playing a role in bringing the Republican Party back. We're going to get started this evening. We have a few special guests that have joined us before we get going with our program. The first that I want to introduce is Victoria Taft from 860 KPAM. Victoria is broadcasting live outside, so if you have a minute, stop by and say hi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Forgive me, I had to bring my tea up with me because I'm losing my voice, but I wouldn't miss tonight for a second. There's nothing that could have kept me away from being here tonight because I am so excited about Michael Steele. Are you excited about Michael Steele? I got to tell you something. I'm so glad that I got a cheer. It was really great. I'm glad a lot of you listened from 5 to 8 p.m. on your ride home on 860 KPAM. And listen, it is time to begin taking back our country. Are you with me? It is time. Are you ready to take back Oregon? I am too. I am committed to that because I believe that most people think the way we think. We think the right way. And I don't necessarily mean the right side of the aisle. I mean we're on the right side of the issues. It is time to take it back. Are you ready to do it? That's the question tonight. That's why we love Michael Steele. That is why I'm so glad that we finally have somebody who's willing to stand up for what's right, do the right thing, say it, and back it up. Now, right now, Democrats in Washington, D.C. have put in motion the takeover of our economy. They have literally and figuratively begun to do that, and it's frightening. They have plans to take over a huge quadrant of the economy called the healthcare industry. They do this all in the name of stimulus, and we've got to stop them. And are you willing to do that? My friends, every right-thinking person in this room, whether you're far extreme right or you're moderate, it doesn't matter. We've got to take our country back. They are calling stimulus, and what they're calling stimulus is really socialism. We need to fight back. We need to take our country back. We didn't want this change, and I wager that there is a heck of a lot of buyer's remorse on the left side of the aisle right now. Look, it's really up to us. This is a very serious thing. We've got to take this country back now. We've got to take the message back. We've got to stand up for what's right. And it's hard to do that, as we do every single day. But we've got to do it, or else we're going to end up with a generation of soap opera watching, plastic shoe wearing, government is my mother, pablum blurbling, babies looking for their welfare checks, and government approval to get their toenails clipped, but they have to wait 5 months to do it. I don't want an America like that. This is where we're headed if we allow the Democrats to continue to take over this country the way in which they have started. It is an inauspicious and very frightening start that they have laid down. But I'll tell you what, we need leadership. We need lots of leadership. You know what? I'm glad that Michael Steele is here because he's the leader we need. We have leadership. They have government programs. We have leadership. They give us butterfly farms and trains to nowhere and little go-karts. That's what we're getting out of these people, and enslavement to the government. I don't know about you, but when I go to work at KPAM every day, I'm thinking I might actually take home a few of those shekels. I don't expect that the government says, oh, Victoria, you're working for me now. No, I don't want a government like that, do you? But finally, instead of just saying, hey, well, you know, we're just going to be Democrat light. We have a leader. Michael Steele's not going to let that happen. We finally got a guy in there who's actually going to lay down a marker, stand up, and defend it. They have finally found somebody with the guts to stand up and do what's right. Michael Steele's the guy. Do you agree with me? You know what? They say Oregon is so blue. They say Oregon can't be done. It can't be won. It can't be changed from blue to red. I got news for you. Most of Oregon is red. And we're going to take all of it. Listen, there's only, a couple messages that we need to leave you with tonight that Michael Steele and I talked about earlier on the air. Just a couple things. It's real simple. The message that's going to win: leadership, liberty, and freedom. That's what I want. I want that out of my government. I want him to get the heck out of the way, and that's why Michael Steele is my guy. Thank you very much. Right on. Yeah.
All right, don't sit down quite yet. It's the next guest that we have. I know it's a familiar voice to all of us here, and we're lucky to have his voice and his leadership standing and looking out for our principles. I'd like to welcome to the stage Lars Larson.
Thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much. It is great to get a chance to follow Victoria Taft. Victoria and I are competitors in the radio business, but on this business, we are on the same page, and Republicans believe in competition, don't we? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, imagine, I will tell you something. My voice is starting to work about as well tonight because of a cold this week as Obama's stimulus plan is working on America's economy. It is a mess right now. And I want to tell you something. I was glad to see the Republicans come out today with their own zero-cost stimulus that involves radical ideas like drilling for oil. Anybody want to have oil? I mean, even if you got here on one of the public transits like Max, which I've not been a big fan of, you still need electricity to run the thing on, and that comes from coal and nuclear and hydropower. And the fact is, most of the administration doesn't believe in that. So I'm glad that you're here to support Michael Steele because this is a very important thing that's being done tonight. I know that it would be very easy to be demoralized right now. The White House in Democrat hands, the Congress in Democrat hands, maybe someday soon, the Supreme Court in liberal hands. That's not where America is going to do best. This is a bad thing for America, but the great message tonight is that, and I was just upstairs, I haven't even had a chance to talk to Mr. Steele in person. We talked on the phone a little bit today because he was nice enough to give me a few minutes on the show. But the fact is, Democrats are starting to run away from this Democrat administration today. They're running away. He just had another Treasury nominee pull out. Now, when the rats are leaving the sinking ship and the sinking ship isn't even 2 months away from the dock, I mean, you know you're in trouble. And I was going to tell you, I always believe the brief is better, and I was going to try and put this in concrete terms for you tonight. They said, do 5 or 6 minutes, and then in a little while we'll introduce Governor Atiyeh. Right now, our government, Senator McConnell figured this out. Senator Mitch McConnell figured out that right now under the Obama administration, they are spending your tax money plus your future debt at the rate of $1 billion an hour. I would like to take maybe $100 million worth of your time tonight. Maybe 5, 6 minutes. This is outrageous, the idea that for 8 years I got a chance to listen to Democrats who'd call me and they'd say, oh, the Bush administration, they're piling up huge deficits. And by that they meant $200 million. You know, we're now piling up hundreds of billions of dollars of debt. $1 billion an hour, and this is going to sink you and your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids under a yoke of debt that is going to be there for decades, if not for centuries, if it doesn't get stopped. And the place we start to stop it is right here, right now, tonight, thanks to all of you tonight in this room. Think about all the things where this party has it right. And this really is about issues. It's not so much about personalities. I think we've got a great leader in Michael Steele. Michael has run into already the Democrat and liberal buzzsaw. And you've watched it. They managed to create a big controversy over Michael Steele and Rush Limbaugh. And now they're going to have more controversy over Michael Steele and choice. And Michael Steele, I'm sure, is going to tell you tonight about the choice that his mom made. A very important choice that his mom made. The right kind of choice for America. That's what choice is about. This party has it right on energy because the Republicans' new plan for stimulus is about providing the energy that America needs and at the same time generating lots and lots of jobs. If you look at what the other side said, we're going to build solar power plants. We're going to build windmills that will what? I'm still enough of a nerd that I read Popular Mechanics and Popular Science just like I did when I was a kid. Popular Mechanics the other day, believe it or not, it's a great source of really good technical information, said if we continue to install solar panels worldwide at the same rate we were going at last year, 56% above any number that we'd ever seen in human history that we were installing solar panels. If we continue to see that kind of increase for the next 10 years, which we can't because the subsidies would bankrupt us, solar will be 2.5% of the worldwide power grid. It's a drop in the bucket. Drilling for oil, building nuclear power plants, not tearing dams out of rivers is the way to supply the power we need. And Victoria's right. I don't want socialized medicine. I don't. And I don't want medicine run by the government. I mean, God bless you. Some of you may actually work for Amtrak or TriMet or the post office or the DMV. I don't want health care run by the people who run those agencies. It is a nightmare. And we don't want it. Just like Victoria and I compete, and we're both better for it, and we serve you better because we compete. And we compete so that we can still say hi to each other. We're friends to each other. We call each other and wish each other happy birthday and Merry Christmas. But we are competitors. That competition is what breeds excellence. Although we both sound hoarse tonight, and there's no connection there. But you want a non-competitive healthcare system? They all say, well, no, it won't be government run. I know that you all know the truth of this. If the government pays the bills, the government will call the shots. That's the way the world works. The guy who signs the check is the one who calls the shots. If the government pays for your health care, they don't have to own the institutions because they're paying the check. They're running the institution. That's why we need Michael Steele. It's why we need to have more Republicans representing you in the Oregon legislature. We need more Republicans representing you in the United States Congress. If Oregon gets a 6th congressional seat, that needs to be a Republican, not one more Democrat. It is a real pleasure to be with you tonight. Governor Vicatia is going to join us shortly. I get the pleasure of introducing him. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Don't forget the kind of excitement you've got tonight. It's going to be a slog. And I know that, and this I think is important. You all, I would imagine there's probably not a person in this room who hasn't already been bitten or hit upside the head by the economy. I've taken my hits already. I expect to take more. There are families out there that are really suffering. This is what we do best. Ronald Reagan was the ultimate optimist about America. He took over a country that had been run into the gutter by the worst president in American history, and he took us back to the America that can be. The next Republican president of this country will do the same thing after we're done with Welcome Back Carter, who's in the White House now. Thank you very much, and Governor Attia will be up here in a moment. How about that? I want to get your attention tonight. Can I tell you a story? Because you got somebody who's really great who's going to be speaking to you in a moment. But I want to tell you that a little over a year ago, my wife and I got to take a whole group of people to Israel. And we were there for 10 days, and I'd been there twice before. And it's an extraordinary experience, including the Shannons, who I see out there. But, and this does get back to tonight in a moment. While we were on that trip, one of the places you have to go in the old city of Jerusalem is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which was built where Jesus was crucified. And there's a little church inside the church that's been built there to represent his tomb. While we were with this group, it was very hot, and our group was, getting a little exhausted at that point in the day. And I realized they all needed water. So I ducked out early because I'd seen the church before, and I ran across this little square to a little shop. And you remember, you're in the old city. It looks like it looked 1,000 years ago because it really is the old city. And I walked into this shop, and I told the shopkeeper I need to buy about 20 bottles of water. And he said, okay. And I pulled out a bunch of money, and I bought the water. And he said, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm kind of anxious to get back to my group. They're all thirsty. I said, I'm from Oregon. He said, oh, do you know Vic Attia? And I said, well, yes, as a matter of fact, I do know Governor Attia. I said, I was a reporter, and I got a chance to interview him on 100 different occasions. He said, I am his third cousin. And I thought, come on, this guy is pulling my leg. He's got to be pulling my leg. He turns around behind him in this little shop that's about 12 feet wide and about 30 feet deep in the old city. Again, it looks, except for the refrigerator where we got the water, it looked like 1,000 years ago. And he picks up a picture off the shelf, and he shows me a picture of Oregon Governor Vic Attia. It is my pleasure to introduce him tonight, Governor Vic Attia. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me add a little to that story, because I knew where he was going when he told me where he was. That I had gotten news back from many people that had visited Israel, and they said, I met your cousin. So when we were there, and we went to the same place, and he was out there and talking to some of our folks. I mean, I had a group with me from Oregon. So I sidled up next to him, and he was talking to them. And then I said to him, marhaba, which is hello in Arabic. That's the only Arabic I know. He turned, and he just about fainted when he saw the real guy. Well, incidentally, you can't see this little button here. Where is it? They're right there. That is a button of hope. And let me describe. The button has it has a number 7. I say it's a button of hope. This is commemorating the session that we had 7 Republican senators. Now, the hope was the session before we had 6. So there is hope, and it does work, and it will happen. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our new chairman, state chairman. And when we were casting around, and really this last election was not the most pleasant evening any of us had, And at that meeting where they were making the choice, they decided on a very successful businessman. A turnaround expert. Actually, if you knew the history and story of that turnaround, it was incredible. State legislator, a ballot-willing citizen. He won his battle with the ballot and won with the citizens of Oregon. A Navy man since 1983, a commander in the Naval Reserve, a lawyer, a family man. What a bunch of good stuff. Our chairman, Bob Tiernan.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much. You know, this is interesting times we're in. In fact, on the way down from the elevator security person turned to me and said, you know, our federal government's out of control. They're spending money like drunken sailors. And I said, sir, that's an insult to drunken sailors. Victor Atiyeh, you're a role model for all of us. You're our shining star, the Republican with class and smarts, and I want to thank you very much for being here tonight. Lars Larson, Victoria Taft, thank you for being our guiding light, entertainment, and being so articulate on the radio and being able to espouse those values and those beliefs and pointing out all the problems that the Democrats are presenting, and that it'll be our job as Republicans to solve. Thank you, Victoria, and thank you, Lars Larson. Our legislative leaders are here. Ted Ferrioli and all 12 of our elected state senators. Not enough, but all 12 of them are right here. Ted Ferrioli. Come up in front here. These are our leaders in the Senate. They're only 12 now, but they're going to be 16 in 2 years. 16. Sweet 16. I also want to take a time, stay right here, folks. Where's Bruce Hanna? Bruce Hanna, come on out. Our minority leader, soon to be majority leader in the House, Bruce Hanna. The state representatives, come on out. Get over here. And a host of our state legislators. They all couldn't make it tonight, but we got a great share. These are the Republicans who are going to lead the way to take it back. One more time, thank you guys. Now, if I were going to let them speak, we'd be here for 4 hours, so you guys can go back and sit down. I know you all too well. There's a couple other people I'd like to recognize. Former Chairman Bill Mashofsky, where are you? Raise your hand. Hey, Bill. Another great role model. Kevin Mannix, where are you? Kevin. And my favorite, and I hate to have favorites, but Senator Randy Miller, where are you? Governor Miller. Randy Miller got me involved in politics about 22 years ago, so if some of you out there are harboring any ill feelings, please take them out on Randy. And last but not least, somebody that is here tonight, my father, Bob Tiernan. Where are you? Somewhere out there. So there's 2 Bob Tiernans in that room. Do you think the D's are really scared now? There he is right over here. Admiral, 2-star Admiral, Bob Tiernan. It's been an exciting 60 days. Today is the 60th day since being elected chairman of the party. Just 60 days. And in those 60 days, we've implemented an aggressive business plan. We've established 6 core committees, focusing on the basics of what it takes to get Republicans elected. We've opened a new headquarters 2 weeks ago. Thank you to Mike Keogh. We've hired an incredibly talented staff. It's all about the people you hire and surround yourself with. Andrew Over, Gary Schmidt, and Kevin Hoare are a great team serving our state. Thank you. Soon after becoming the chairman of the party, I had to go back to Washington, D.C. and vote on the chairman of the RNC, our new party leader. But before I get to that, we have had a few challenges in this state and this country, challenges and trying times. This has been a time when it's hard to say that you're a Republican. It's been a time also for us to stand up like we're doing here tonight. It's not been easy, but we are a proud party, a party of ideas, a party of the free enterprise system. We have accomplished much as a party over the years. Just listen to a few things your Republican Party has done since 1853 when it was established. It was a Republican who led our country through the Civil War and kept our Union intact. It was a Republican who ended slavery. It was a Republican who was elected the first black governor of a state. It was the Republicans who extended equal rights to all the states. It was the Republican Congress who overwhelmingly supported the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It was not the Democrats. It was a Republican who led the fight to give women the right to vote. It was a Republican who was the first woman elected in Congress. It was a Republican president who appointed the first woman to the Supreme Court. It was a Republican president who led the fight to preserve our environment and established the very first national park in the United States, in the world, Yellowstone National Park, established by a Republican to preserve our environment. And it was a Republican president who 30 years later established the second largest national park in our country. Yellowstone was first, Yosemite was second, by a Republican. And it was the Republican governor of Oregon who cleaned up the Willamette River, passed the bottle bill, cleaned up our environment, and opened up our beaches to everybody so we can all enjoy. A Republican. And it was a Republican, here's a real history lesson for you, a Republican president who led us out of the first big depression that hit this country. It was not 1929, it was 1919, after World War I. We actually had people die of starvation in this country. It was a Republican president who ended that recession, severe recession, depression. And he led the way to prosperity by cutting taxes. And after he cut the taxes and brought this country back to prosperity, some of you may remember what happened. It was called the Roaring Twenties. And it was a Republican governor of Oregon who in 1979 to 1984 had a terrible recession on his hands, inflation, the economy was a wreck, it was sad economic times in our state, and it was a Republican governor who led us out of that recession with fiscal responsibility, balanced budgets, and making tough decisions. And that governor is here tonight, Victor Atiyeh. I am proud to be a Republican. How about you? And one of the proudest moments of me being a Republican happened 6 weeks ago when I had the pleasure of meeting Michael Steele. There was 5 candidates to lead our party, but only one really was a leader. And he stuck out. He stuck out head and shoulders. What were those qualities I looked at 6 weeks ago to judge who should represent all of us in the comeback? Aggressive, smart, articulate, great presence, a good debater, out-of-the-box thinker, a good manager, a family man, a Georgetown graduate. Sorry, we're both Georgetown graduates, Michael. Former Lieutenant Governor of Maryland, former chairman of the Maryland Republican Party, a proven politician, a tested leader, and even a commentator on Fox News. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our fearless leader and someone I am so proud of, Michael Steele.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, this it's pretty awesome. It's great to be here. Man, it is great to be here in Oregon. I won't even ask how you folks are doing. You're doing just fine right here in Oregon tonight. Absolutely. It is a real pleasure. Thank you, Chairman Tiernan. It's really great to be back here with you in your state. I want to thank you first and foremost for your leadership, what you have managed to do in the 60 days that you have been in office is nothing short of amazing. It is certainly important for the good people of this state, especially the Republican Party. Thank you for bringing the life back to the GOP here in Oregon. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Governor, where's the governor? Governor, thank you. It's an honor to be in your house, sir. It's great to be in your state. Thank you for your service, and it was a real pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Governor. I didn't get a chance to meet the House leader upstairs. I think he came in while we were gathering, but where'd he go? Where's Bruce? Leader, thank you so much. I look forward to sitting down with you and chatting. It's a great pleasure to be with you and the members of the House tonight. Thank you so much for your leadership. And certainly to the Senate and their leadership, thank you as well for being here, all of the elected officials. God bless you. You are the stalwarts that keep us going. Keep it going, folks. I know it's not an easy climb, but keep it going. Keep it going. To your National Committee woman, Donna Kane. Where's Donna? Where's Donna? She's around. Donna's in the back. Donna, there you go. Good to see you, Donna. Thank you so much for your leadership, and it's great to be on your team. Your National Committee man, Solomon Yu. Solomon, where are you? Solomon's in the house somewhere. Thank you so much as well. I wanted to introduce a friend of both Bob and myself who's visiting with us from the great state of Washington, the chairman of the Washington GOP, Luke Esser. Where's Luke? Chairman Esser, thank you so much for being here. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to an old friend who he and I met many years ago when we became Aspen Institute Fellows. And when I first met him, I thought to myself, this is a pretty cool guy. And then he started to speak, and I said, yeah, he's a really cool conservative. I like this guy. And we became fast friends. We've traveled the globe together on official missions to Iraq and the Middle East as part of our efforts to be the new leaders out there, to have a voice, to bring the voice of America to parts of the world. And you have a great leader and a great senator, and your state senator, Jason Atkinson. It's great to see you, sir. He had a little bit of a mishap a while ago and nearly scared me crazy. But it's good to see you up and about, man, and keep it going. Keep it strong, all right? All right, don't stop. Well, it's great to be in your house. I tell you, this is so much fun. I'm so excited. I have to thank Bob and Donna and Solomon for the opportunity to serve as the new chairman of the Republican National Committee. It has been a phenomenal honor for me. It has been 40 days to the date. Yes, it may seem like 40 years, but already we have got a lot of folks in Washington worried and concerned, and I like that very, very much. But I have to share with my friends of Oregon this little lesson that I have learned in these 40 days, especially in this past 24 hours or so. And that is very simply this, and please understand and appreciate, because this will apply to you at some point. You cannot please everybody. But you can certainly tick them all off at the same time. And I've gotten pretty good at doing that. And so just keep it up. Look, there are folks right now that are telling me, okay, why don't you just sit in the corner for like 12 days, all right? And just trust me, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. No, 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 no. They don't call me the man of steel for nothing. As one friend put it to me the other day, he says, well, you're not really the man of steel to the Democrats. You're more like kryptonite. So I appreciate that, too. There are a couple of things that I want to share with you tonight. First, starting with how happy my heart is right now to see so many of you here. In talking with the chairman and some of the leaders, they themselves were just brimming with pride at the reception that we had upstairs, this gathering here tonight, to see so many activists and leaders come out in celebration of our party. You know what it tells me? It tells me that we have finally taken our heads out of the sand. We've stopped moping and whining and complaining, and we're ready to roll up our sleeves and kick some Democrat you-know-what. But, you know, it's taken us a lot to get here. We've gone through a lot to get here, and I don't have to tell you how important it is to support your party, whether it is your local party, whether it is your state party, or your national party. I want you, when you leave here tonight, to walk out of this room proud to be Republicans again. I want you, when you walk out of this room tonight, I want you, when you walk out of this room tonight, to start acting like Republicans again. I want you, when you walk out of here tonight, to tell every neighbor, every friend, every family member, even that crazy uncle in the corner, all right? Tell them all that our party is back and we're ready. When you walk out of here tonight, I want you to be prepared to roll up your sleeves and do the heavy lifting that it's going to take to win again in this state and across this country. It is going to require us to do unprecedented work in finding candidates and recruiting them, training them, helping them to become the voice of the people, to represent the people. It's going to require an incredible amount of work to raise the dollars that are going to be necessary to put in place the programs for those candidates, to develop that message and to deliver it throughout this state for the people to understand and appreciate what our core Republican values are all about, what our first principles really mean to them and their families. That the idea that we are best served when we help ourselves and one another, when we lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps and reach over from time to reach and help a neighbor. We are best served when the government is checked and put in its proper place and gets out of our way. That's the work we have to do. Now, if you listen to the national media, and Lord knows I stopped doing that a long time ago, you'd think that the Republican Party didn't exist anymore. You'd think that, man, they've turned out the lights and gone home. I want you to let them know you're alive and well here in Oregon. Now, but keep in mind that we've got to understand a couple of things, too. A lot of this mess we're in is of our own doing, all right? And as the national chairman, I've decided to put the party on a 12-step recovery program. And it starts by acknowledging our own sins, our own faults. Remember 1994, folks? Remember that little thing called the contract with America? Remember when the American people decided to entrust us with the keys to leadership? They entrusted us to lead them through good times and hard times. Little did they expect us to create the hard times for them. But when we went to Washington and got that Potomac fever by drinking from that water of influence and power, when we actually had folks who would drive up in cars and let us get in, and we ride in the back seats, and they'd open doors at the fanciest restaurants and welcome, Senator, welcome, Congressman. We lost our minds. We forgot why we were sent there. But the people never did. You never did. You grew disappointed in that leadership as well. Your faith in this party was shaken because you saw people who were sent to Washington to do a job on us. Well, I'm here to tell you, those days are over. We are going to be about the business of building, about the business of growing, about the business of the people of this country. I will not, as the chairman of this party, he will not, as the chairman of this state party, allow the Democrats, President Obama, or anyone who is a part of that process of redistributing of our wealth, nationalizing our health care and our economy, to get away with it. We will stand in that doorway and prevent it from happening. Now, let me tell you how we get from here to there. Right? You ready? Okay, here we go. There was a Democrat and a Republican walking down the street. And they came across an individual who was going through some tough times. And the Democrat looked at the Republican and said, what are you going to do about that? And the Republican said, well, I'll just go over and talk to the man and see how I can help. Walked over, talked to the gentleman, realized he just lost his job and he needed an opportunity. So he told the gentleman, said, look, I tell you what, here's my business card. All you've got to do on Monday morning, just stop by my office and we'll see if we've got something for you to do. It's not much, but it's something. Maintain your dignity, your self-respect. See what we can do. Here's $20. Get yourself something to eat. I'll see you Monday. Now, the Democrat was impressed by that. So they go a little bit further and they find another gentleman who's down on his luck. And the Republican looked at the Democrat and said, now, what you going to do about that? And the Democrat said, oh, I got this. So he walks over to the man, talks to him a little bit. Then he turns around and says, well, look, here's the card to the local welfare office. Reached into the Republican's pocket, took out $50 and gave it to the man. Now, that's a story that's a reflection of what is happening in this country right now, where our government is incentivizing its citizens to become dependent on government. We're the only thing that stands between them and that happening. That's why what you do when you leave here tonight is so important. That's why your being here tonight is so important. I don't want you to lose sight of that. I don't want you to get lost in all the noise of Washington, all the noise of the national media that want to play up things to avoid dealing with reality. Anyone can pick a fight between Rush Limbaugh and Michael Steele when no fight exists to distract you. Anyone can pick a fight between Sean Hannity and the president when there is no fight to distract you. Don't be fooled by the hype. Stay focused, stay principled, stay in leadership. My responsibility as your national chairman is to do something very simple: win elections. And in order for me to do that, that means I'm putting this party in 24/7, 365 campaign mode. Every day. Every day, We work towards winning one more seat, one more opportunity, one more voter. I need you registering voters. I need you talking to voters. I need you building coalitions with voters. I need you to reach out and touch a friend, touch a neighbor, touch somebody, and share the story of this great party. The chairman gave you a wonderful history and laid it out very clearly. We have game, folks. We've been in the game a long time. We know what the responsibilities of leadership are. We know what our responsibilities are to the people. Now it's time to go out and prove it again. So I'm asking not a lot, but what I'm asking is very important. And I'll leave you with this. This country was built on certain values, certain principles that I think touch every man, woman, and child in America. This country was built as an idea that's still evolving, still maturing, but always relevant. People watch us, people learn from us. We have much to share. But it is those values, those things that bind us as a nation, that we appreciate more than anything else. That as Republicans, we look at the individual and say, wow. Democrats look at government and say, oh boy. It is those values that make a difference. Those values that speak to the strength of this nation by recognizing you cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging thrift. You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. You cannot help the wage earner by pulling down the wage payer. Note to President Obama. You cannot further the brotherhood of man by encouraging class hatred. You cannot establish security by borrowing money. Talk to China. You cannot help the poor by destroying the rich. You cannot build character and courage by taking away one's initiative and incentive. And you cannot help the good men and women of this nation permanently by doing for them what they should do for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, when you leave here tonight, I want you to know that our values are right, our principles are true, our motives are pure, our people are ready. We are and will always be the proud party of Lincoln. God bless.
Michael Steele, our leader. Stay here. Now, the show's not over. Michael, you're not going anywhere. On behalf of all Oregon Republicans, some independents and no Democrats, we have a special presentation for Michael. Something that he will not forget. Oh, wow. This is Michael's very first stop outside of Washington, D.C. This is the first state he has visited. You are the first crowd to greet him. And I think we should give him something to remind him of all of us. So in the great state of Oregon, in a shape, it reads, you know, Dad, I didn't get all your jeans. I need these glasses now. Thank you, Mr. Michael Steele, Chairman of the RNC. Thank you for your leadership, your courage, and commitment in leading the Republican Party on the road to success. Your example of boldly articulating what Republicans stand for and why our philosophy is what will bring us, this country, back to prosperity, is in the finest traditions of our founding fathers. On behalf of all Oregonians and fellow Americans, thank you. Michael Steele. Now we got one more special. Sarah Vaughn, come up here. Where's Sarah? I want Michael to stay up here. Sarah? Where's Sarah? Sarah Vaughn, get up here. Sarah Vaughn, wave your hand. Where's Sarah Vaughn? Come on, get up here. This is part of the talent that's on loan to the legislature. Sarah has a special treat for Michael. She's going to sing to him a very special song. Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you. Just a couple of more things. Michael Steele has offered a challenge to everybody in this room, no matter how old you are, no matter where you come from, to do what each of you can do to make the difference. So, as my mother would say to me, let's go out and do the right thing and elect some Republicans. Hey, Michael and I will stay here for a little while, and we're going to do a circulation. If you'd like to come up and say hello to Mike and shake his hand, do that. Please, no long conversations, and if you have a $100 bill, you can put it in my hand. Thank you for coming. You're a great crowd. And remember, volunteer and get out there.
Hey, it's great to be here tonight and get this message of hope. The Republican Party is alive and well, and glad to be a part of it.
Oh, well, I think he's a great, dynamic leader, and hopefully the party will come back. God knows somebody has to stand in the way of some of the reckless, non-bipartisan behavior that's going on.
Michael Steele is going to do great things for us. The energy is higher than it's been in a long, long time, and I really liked his critique of how we got here, the mistakes Republicans made to get us to where we are, because I think we really need to face up to what mistakes we made if we're going to fix those mistakes and become a party of the majority again. So I'm thrilled with Michael Steele, and God bless him, God bless Bob Kiernan, and I think the party is finally back in the black again as well.
I really thought that he energized the party, which we're already energized anyways, because we're not really happy with, we're very unhappy with what's happening in Washington. So we're thrilled, and we're happy to have him here. We can't be happier. Absolutely thrilled. He's a great man.
Simply put, there's a lot of us out here looking at what's happening in our government, and we're appalled. We're shocked. And the color line is being shredded. And I just want to put all of those Democrats who don't believe that on notice. Michael Steele came with a message. He came with passion. We're on board. And there's a lot more of us out here than you think.
Okay, all the young folks out there, it's time to get busy. Time to get in the game. No more sitting on the sidelines. If you're a GOP, we need you now. Don't worry about the future. It's happening right now. Get involved with the state party. Get involved with the YRCRs. Get involved. Get involved. I cannot emphasize it enough. We got a powerful message to share. Share it. This party's on the move. We got a lot of good things happening. I'm excited to be your chairman. I want to be on your team. So let's get busy. Thank you.
Oh, Chairman Steele is an absolute absolute dynamic, impressive, articulate leader. He's who we need right now. He's the right man for the job. He's going to carry us forward. He's going to bring the Republicans back. We're excited. This was the largest event in the history of Oregon Republican politics, and it's because of Chairman Steele's leadership. I'm proud that he's my leader. He's doing a great job. And folks, let's all band together at the hip and keep it going.
He's a stand-up guy. He's a dynamic leader from the East. He's got the right attitude to get this party off its butt, up on its feet, and come out punching. And that's what we're going to do.
Chairman Steele did a fabulous job. He's an excellent representative of our strong, conservative, independent, individual rights, small government, and more individual liberties that we are being taken care of. They are taking away our individual liberties right now as we speak at, what, $1 billion an hour?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Sheila? I absolutely agree with you. I think that we have to change our Republican Party. We have to go towards a little bit more, less conservative, but we have to go more towards the political side, which is adding and subtracting dollar and cents side of the Republican Party.
Don't you want to feel like if you work harder, you want to make more money?
I want to be
You want to have that opportunity.
I want to be rewarded
They're
for
robbing
working hard.
you.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
As a small business owner, she knows what she's talking about.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
It was nice having Michael Steele here. I think that there needs to be a lot of younger people coming into the Republican Party, and I noticed tonight that there was a lot of older people, and I think we need to do something about that, and I'm ready to step up and help to regain younger people into the party again.
Well, hello, I'm Victoria Taft here, and I'm enjoying myself at the Michael Steele event. I apologize for my voice and all that, but I'm here, I'm talking, and glad to talk with folks who really want to stand up for what's right. Anything else you want me to say? How about that? You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I loved Michael Steele today. I enjoyed him. I found him to be engaging and a passionate leader, and I'm so glad that he's the guy in charge of the GOP now. Because you know what? It's our turn. It's people like us who are going to stand up for what's right, stand against government takeover, which is essentially what's going on right now. We want to make sure that people have more liberty. We want to make sure that people have more freedom. Government doesn't grant that. It's what we already have. Government takes it away. That's the problem with what's going on right now. That's the problem with Barack Obama. That's why I love Michael Steele coming up and just going, oh yeah? Barack Obama, what you're selling is socialism. What you're selling is enslavement to the government. I don't buy it. I don't want you to buy it either. I think that's why I'm glad Michael Steele's here. That's why I'm voting Republican.